On August 30th, 1918, there is an attempt on Vladimir Lenin's life. Then a reign of terror is put out, a red reign of terror to wipe out the bourgeoisie and the intellectuals of all stripes because, oh yeah, about killed Lenin, all the great goddamn Lenin. Fucking shit. Oh, he actually got shot. He nearly died. August 30th, 1918, half-blind Fanya Fanny Kaplan was a member of the Socialist Revolutionary Party. So Fanya Kaplan saw Lenin as a traitor to the revolution, which she is correct. The Bolsheviks enacted one-party rule. They banned the Social Revolutionaries. The Social Revolutionaries won the Constituent Assembly. The Socialist Revolutionaries were the majority, 400, the representatives, and only 200 were Bolsheviks, but over 400 were the Social Revolutionaries of the Constituent Assembly. But the Bolsheviks just went and used militant, fucking fascism and locked everybody out. Didn't give a shit about democracy. Didn't give a shit about Constitution or, the Bill of Rights or any of the things that the American Revolution was all about. So he was speaking at some kind of factory. It's the August 30th, 1918. Fanya Fanny Kaplan approaches Vladimir Lenin, who is leaving a Moscow factory, fired 3 shots, which badly injured him. Interrogated by the Cheka, she refused to name any accomplices and was executed. She ain't a fucking snitch, fucking half-blind, Fanya Kaplan. She ain't no fucking snitch, straight up fucking revolutionary, badass motherfucker. Oh my God, I'm absolutely in love with this Fanya Fanny Kaplan. Fucking Lenin is ruining the Ukraine. The Ukrainians had a socialist democratic government, but because the Bolsheviks have to fucking force their, way on motherfucking people, they have to force their fucking way on people instead of winning people over. Instead of persuading and then getting the power, they take the power first. And if you just take power by coup d'etat, then guess what? The coup d'etat which deposes you is just as legitimate as the coup d'etat which you put upon the people. On August 30th, 1918, Lenin spoke at the Hammer and Sickle and Arms factory in southern Moscow. As Lenin left the building and before he had entered his car, Kaplan called out to him when Lenin turned towards her. She fired 3 shots with the Browning pistol. Pow, pow, pow. Pow, 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 pow. 1 bullet passed through Lenin's coat. The other 2 struck him. 1 passed through his neck. Apparently 1 punctured part of his left lung, 1 stopped near his right collarbone, the other lodged in his left shoulder. Lenin was taken back to his living quarters at the Kremlin. He feared that some of the other plotters might be planning to kill him. He refused to leave the security of the Kremlin to seek medical attention. Doctors were brought in to treat him, but they could not remove the bullets inside of him without a hospital. Despite the severity of his injuries, Vladimir Lenin survived, but his health never fully recovered from the attack. The Kaplan attempt in the Moisey Uritsky assassination was used by the government of Soviet Russia for the reinstatement of the death penalty, which had been abolished by the Russian provisional government. Motherfucker, the provisional government, they're undoing it. They're undoing the Constituent Assembly, undoing the Central Rada. They're destroying democracy in the Ukraine, destroying democracy in Russia. These motherfucker red terrors is right. It's a fucking red terror. They're modeling their red terror after the French Revolution's reign of terror. An official decree announcing the red terror was issued only hours after the Kaplan shooting and called for an all-out struggle against enemies of the revolution. In the next few months, about 800 right social revolutionaries and other political opponents of the Bolsheviks were executed. What the fuck? What? 800 of the social revolutionaries who got elected were executed. Yeah, I'm so glad we trusted the Bolsheviks. Nah, they're here for the workers. They care about us. Bullshit, they want one-party rule. They want one-party rule, and that's all they care about. I shot Lenin because I consider him a traitor due to the fact that he lives. For a long time, the onslaught of socialism, it will be postponed for decades. My name is Fanya Kaplan. Today I shot Lenin, and I did it on my own. I will not say from whom I obtained my revolver. I will give no details. I had resolved to kill Lenin a long time ago. I consider him a traitor to the revolution. I was exiled to Katui for participating in an assassination attempt against a czarist official in Kiev. I spent 11 years doing hard labor. After the revolution, I was freed. I favored the Constituent Assembly, and I am still in favor of it. So the revolution freed her. Yeah, he went motherfucker. Jesus Christ. I've been mad as fuck too. August 31st, 1918, while recovering from his wounds, Vladimir Lenin instructed it's necessary, secretly and urgently, to prepare the terror. In immediate response to the two attacks, Chekists killed approximately 1,300 bourgeoisie hostages held in Petrograd and the Kronstadt prisons. Wow, so they killed 800 of the fucking social revolutionaries, and now they're just killing 1,300 bourgeoisie hostages. Bolshevik newspapers were especially integral to instigating an escalation in state violence. On August 31st, the state-controlled media launched the repressive campaign through incitement of violence. One article appeared in the Pravda, exclaimed, "The time has come for us to crush the bourgeoisie or be crushed by it. The anthem of the working class will be a song of hatred and revenge." The next day, the newspaper Grozhnaya Gazeta stated that only rivers of blood can atone for the blood of Lenin and Uritsky. Uritsky. Only rivers of blood can atone for the blood of Uritsky. Who? Who the fuck is Uritsky? Is that the same Lenin we know? Not if it's Uritsky's Lenin. No, let's not. This is all crap. This is propaganda. September 3rd, 1918, the first official announcement of a Red Terror was published in Izvestia on September 3rd, titled "Appeal to the Working Class," calling for the workers to crush the hydra of counter-revolution with massive terror. It would also make clear that anyone who dares to spread the slightest rumor against the Soviet regime will be arrested immediately and sent to a concentration camp. Izvestia also reported that in the 4 days since the attempt on Lenin's life, over 500 hostages had been executed in Petrograd alone. September 3rd, 1918, when it became clear that when Fanny Kaplan would not implicate any of her accomplices, she was executed in the Alexander Garden. The order was carried out by the commander of the Kremlin, the former Baltic sailor P.D. Malkov, and a group of Latvian Bolsheviks on September 3rd, 1918, with a bullet to the back of the head. Oh, how fucking brave, Bolsheviks, shooting goddamn fucking 20-year-old half-blind woman in the back of the head. Fucking bitch-ass fucking bitches. What a bunch of bitch-ass bitches. And the order was carried out by the commander. So motherfucker wasn't even doing what he thought was best. He was just doing what somebody else told him. Motherfucker couldn't even do it himself. P.D. Malkov and a group of Latvian Bolsheviks. Her corpse was bundled into a barrel and set alight. The order came from Yakov Sverdlov, who only 6 weeks earlier had ordered the execution of the Tsar and his family because there were no remains. Rumors of her survival in Siberian labor camps persisted for years. September 5th, 1918. Subsequently, on September 5th, the Central Committee of the Bolshevik government issued a decree on Red Terror, prescribing mass shooting to be inflicted without hesitation. The decree ordered the Cheka to secure the Soviet Republic from the class enemies by isolating them in concentration camps, as well as stating that counter-revolutionaries must be executed by shooting and that the names of the executed and the reasons of the execution must be made public. The government executed 500 representatives of overthrown classes, the kulaks, immediately after the assassination of Uritsky. Soviet Commissar Gregory Petrovsky called for an expansion of the terror and an immediate end of looseness and tenderness. September 5th, 1918, a declaration about the Red Terror by the Savnarkom on September 5th, 1918 stated that for empowering the All-Russian Extraordinary Commission in the fight with the counter-revolution, profiteering, and corruption, making it more methodical, it is necessary to direct their possibly bigger number of the responsible party comrades that it is necessary to secure the Soviet Republic from the class enemies by way of isolating them in concentration camps, that all people are to be executed by firing squad who are connected with the White Guard organizations, conspiracies, and mutinies, that it is necessary to publicize the names of the executed as well as the reasons of applying to them that measure, signed by the People's Commissar of Justice D. Kursky, People's Commissar of Interior G. Petrovsky, Director of Affairs of Council of People's Commissars V. Bonch, Brujevich. October 15th, 1918. On October 15th, the leading Chekist Gleb Baki summing up the officially ended Red Terror, reported that in Petrograd, 800 alleged enemies had been shot and another 6,229 imprisoned. What? Hundreds, thousands they killed, and now thousands, 6,000 they're jailed. So this is mass. This is casualties in the first 2 months were between 10,000 and 15,000 based on list of summarily executed people published in the newspaper Cheka Weekly and other official. Talk about blaming, collective punishment, blaming the population for it was Lenin's own doing. Fucking bitch ass motherfucker during the Constituent Assembly. He lays back in a chair and pretends to go to sleep because he's like, who gives a shit what you Russian motherfuckers are doing? Who cares what you social revolutionaries, if you guys were elected or not? We're the Bolsheviks, we're in charge, and we're going to, like fascist Nazis, tell you that we're the ones that are in charge. We're not going to win over the people, we're not going to win the elections, we're not going to let the Constituent Assembly go through. The best thing that Russia should have done as soon as, Lenin on board that sealed train in Petrograd, drop a fat man and a little boy. Fucking was it hydrogen or helium? Uranium. Casualties in the first 2 months were between 10,000 and 15,000 based on the list of summarily executed people published in the newspaper Cheka Weekly and other official press. October 18th, 1918, West Ukraine is formed. West Ukraine is East Galicia, a short-lived polity that controlled most of eastern Galicia from November 1918 to July 1919. So it started October 18th, but it's going to last from July 1919. It included the cities of Lviv, Ternopil, Kolomaya, Drohobych, that is one Drohobych, Borislav, Stanislaviv, now Ivano-Frankivsk, Right Bank, Przemysl, claimed parts of Bukovina and Carpathian Ruthenia. Politically, the Ukrainian National Democratic Party, the precursor to the interwar Ukrainian National Democratic Alliance, dominated the Legislative Assembly, guided by varying degrees of Greek, Catholic, liberal, and socialist ideology. Other parties represented included the Ukrainian Radical Party and the Christian Social Party. October 18th, 1918. The Ukrainian National Council of West Ukrainian People's Republic is established. November 11th, 1918. World War I ends at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. November 11th, 1918. This became known as Armistice Day, the day that Germany signed an armistice, an agreement for peace, which caused the fighting to stop. People in Britain, France, and the countries that supported them celebrated. Also, the Spanish flu is getting out of fucking control. This World War I needs to end. We need to end World War I. So there we go. World War I is over. Woo! Now the Russian Revolution, the Bolsheviks, they get to just run shit. I mean, they won that. Oh, they didn't win the election. They got to fight a civil war now. See, that's how fucked, the World War I is over. But for the next 5 years, the Bolsheviks are still going to continue to kill the shit out of the Russian people. And not just the whites, not just the royalists, but also the Don Cossacks and the Ukrainian nationalists and, the Estonians and who the fuck ever thinks that they are, their own people and they're not goddamn Russians. So they're going to kill anybody and everybody that poses a threat to their fucking, goddamn socialist revolution, their socialist communist revolution. And actually Stalin kind of fucked up Trotsky and Lenin's sort of vision on the worldwide socialist revolution. Stalin, I guess got it in one country. So, that's God, could you imagine though, instead of 40 fucking years of Stalin, what if we had goddamn 8 different communist presidents that we could talk about and compare and contrast. Instead, Trotsky, Lenin, Stalin, shut the fuck up. Well, let's talk about Che Guevara. Let's talk about Fred Hampton. Let's talk about Sweden and Iceland today. I mean, Bolivia elected a democratic socialist, so we don't have to goddamn, be Che Guevarist here. We can get peace, land, and bread for the people through constitutionalism, through electoralism. And hell, we can just raise our own food if we truly wanted to. So World War I is over. November 14th, 1918, the Directorate of the Ukrainian People's Republic is formed. And it's going to last for, over a year to 1920. So there you go, the Directorate of the Ukrainian People's Republic. They're coming back. They're coming back. Well, let's go back to that treaty. So November 11th, 1918, 3 days before the Directorate of the Ukrainian People's Republic is formed, the treaty was annulled by the Armistice of November 11th, 1918. What? When Germany surrendered to the Western Allies, however, in the meantime, it did provide some relief to the Bolsheviks already fighting in the Civil War. The Brest Treaty. So I guess they're saying the Brest Treaty, the Brest-Litovsk Treaty, now was annulled by the Armistice of November 11th. Germany surrendered to the Western Allies. However, in the meantime, it provided some relief to the Bolsheviks fighting the Russian Civil War. Already killing Russians, right? Following the Russian revolutions of 1917. The Russian revolutions. All the February and October, November. By the renunciation of Russians' claims on Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, ended fighting on land, sea, and air in World War I, became allies, and their last remaining opponent, Germany. Previous armistice had been agreed with Bulgaria. The Ottoman Empire, Austro-Hungarian empires concluded after the German government sent a message to President Woodrow Wilson to negotiate terms on the basis of a recent speech of his in the earlier declared 14 points, which later became the basis of the German surrender at the Paris Peace Conference, which took place the following year. So good. We got an armistice, right? That Treaty of the Brest-Litovsk. Let's see, November 1918, Skoropadsky was removed from power in an uprising led by the Social Democrat Simon Petlura, Simon Petlura, and the withdrawal of the German forces from Kiev. The uprising nominally restored the Ukrainian People's Republic, but power was vested in a Directoria, a provisional government of 5 directors chaired by Vladimir Vinichenko. Hey! Vladimir Vinichenko! So it's not Hrushevsky anymore, it's Vladimir Vinichenko. Good old Vladimir Vinichenko. The Director of the Ukrainian People's Republic, a provisional collegiate revolutionary state committee of the Ukrainian People's Republic, initially formed November 13th to the 14th, 1918, during a session of the Ukrainian National Union in rebellion against Skoropadsky's regime. During the overthrow of Pavlo Skoropadsky, it was named as the Executive Council of the State Affairs. Its authority was extended by the Labor Congress of Ukraine, January 23 to 28, 1919. After an unsuccessful attempts to gather members of the committee, it dissolved November 10th, 1920. On November 12th, 1920, by the law on the temporary supreme authority in the legislative system of the UNR, the Executive Council was reformed into a single-person government position. Okay. So what does all that mean? I don't know. But more coming up. November, December 19. We only got 2 more fucking months. What's going to happen by the end of 1918? Are we all going to get along? Are we all going to get... Are the Ukrainian nationalists and the Bolsheviks, are we going to figure out some good compromise that's going to go ahead and carry, peace